Alright guys, so as you guys may or may not know, RELLGames has done some absolutely massive nerfs recently. Now, there's pretty much been no buffs in the past two updates, and it's only been nerfs, and there has been a lot of them, like over 100 nerfs in the past two updates. So in this video, I'm going to be going over probably just the major ones, because there's just so many of them. I'm going to go over the ones that probably will affect you quite a bit. I'm going to give my opinion on them. I'm just going to say, this video is not intended as hate, obviously. I am part of the balance team. I did, read a bunch of these changes and stuff like that. And I honestly think that overall the balance changes were good. There's just a few sour ones, and I will be mentioning those in the video as well with all the good ones. I'm just gonna be going over all the major ones. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, right to the video, guys. All right, so of course we're gonna be starting off with the one that probably everyone has noticed so far in this game. Deva Rengoku has gotten absolutely slammed with these nerfs. So pretty much everything that was good about Deva Ren was a nerf. So Deva Ren has been one of the best blinds in the game for such a long period of time that people just come to accept what Deva Ren is and what it's actually capable of. But they have slammed it with some absolutely hardcore nerfs that has honestly made Deva Ren, I'm gonna say this, it's kind of made it borderline unusable with how the abilities actually are. I do think while the nerfs were a little bit hardcore, they definitely were needed for a while now. I just think sometimes it's really hard to find a balance on how to properly nerf something because the move is just so utterly broken. But even one small thing, because Shindo Life is a very complicated game, one small change can either make a move useless or just broken. So going over the changes that Deva Ren actually received, we're going to start off with the third ability. So the third ability, if you guys are unaware, you could actually charge this move. There was a glitch. It was fixed pretty fast, actually. But there was a glitch where it automatically made you have to hold it down throughout the entire duration of it. Now, a lot like Rengoku first, you can actually charge this move. And the glitch was that you were forced to charge a move to completion. So it took like 10 seconds to activate the move, which is pretty hilarious, but that was fixed pretty quickly. But the actual nerf for Deva Ren third is going to be that it actually has 3 hand signs now and has a much higher cooldown than what it had before. Now, while this change may not seem like a very big deal, oh yeah, only 3 hand signs. The reason why it was so broken was because it was instant and had a decent, cooldown. Now the cooldown is low now, and it requires a lot of hand signs. Over 3 hand signs, it's pretty high on the hand sign scale of Shindo Life. A lot of moves only have like 1 or 2, if that. And the moves that have a lot of hand signs, it's like 3, 4, or 5. So 3 hand signs is on, middle, upper, higher end of the spectrum. So it is quite a bit of hand signs. I do think while this change was really, needed in the game for a while now, I think the reason why so many people are upset with it is honestly because they just kind of got used to using this move. This move was used by a lot of people. So I do think this nerf is going to take a little while for people to get accustomed to, but I do think it was needed. But it maybe reduced the hand signs by like 1, and then the move would be fine. Now, the other move of Deva Ren, now this move was actually nerfed even harder than Deva Ren's second ability. Deva Ren's second move got absolutely crushed. So first of all, the range on the second move was decreased by a lot. So the range on the move is almost non-existent now. So it's basically just a melee locked move, which, isn't that bad if you didn't consider that they actually made the cooldown start after the move ends. So it's artificially increasing the cooldown by quite a lot because the move, as you guys know, is a very, very long move. So it did increase the move by quite a lot. It's a very long, cooldown move at the moment now. And they also reduced the range of it. So this move got absolutely hammered by the changes. So I do think Deva Ren overall with these 2 nerfs has made this bloodline significantly worse than what it was before. Is it the worst blood in the game now? No, but it's definitely not S tier anymore, even close to being like high A tier. I'd say at most it's probably a B plus A minus bloodline. Now the next nerf that a lot of people probably know is going to be the Ragnar nerfs. So there was a glitch for a while now where you could use both of Ragnar's abilities and obviously both of Ragnar's global cooldowns. They actually didn't global cooldown each other, so you could use one right after another, which is basically free damage with a really long guard breaking stun. But not only was the global cooldown of these moves fixed, but the actual stun duration of Ragnar and Shiva Ragnar first was decreased by a lot. The stun time is almost non-existent now. It's basically just a basic, M1 extending move now. And not to mention the fact that Ragnar third has just been absolutely crushed. Ragnar third, the stun time is less now. It has end lag attached to it. The move doesn't teleport you anymore. Ragnar third is basically absolutely hammered at this point. So Ragnar as the bloodline is quite significantly worse than what it was before. I wouldn't say it's bad. It still has, pretty good abilities overall, but I do think the nerfs kind of, have hammered Ragnar quite a bit. Now, this is one that you guys probably were expecting, but maybe didn't expect at the same time. Minakaze has received some nerfs as well. Now, Minakaze's second is it's a very weird one in my opinion. I do think this was a very weird move because sometimes the move had gaps, sometimes it didn't, and that was kind of what made it balanced, even though it was basically an uncounterable guard breaking move. Because even if you used the counter on it, the counter wouldn't trigger because it had iframes during the move, so you couldn't counter it. You basically got comboed if the gap just wasn't there sometime. But not only did they remove a the iframes of the second move, but the damage of it, I'm pretty sure, was reduced as well. I'm pretty sure it also doesn't block break anymore, so I'm pretty sure Minakaze second is borderline the exact same as what it was before. It just plays out a little bit faster. So Minakaze second is honestly just as bad as it was before. I do think it's pretty trash now, you know, after all the nerfs. But the third move of Minakaze, they said they nerfed it, but they actually didn't receive the nerfs. It still bypasses block. For some reason, if you use the kunais from extremely far distance away and you hit them, even if they're blocking, it'll instantly cancel their block out and you will take a lot of damage from it. They said they nerfed the damage of this move, but that's still there. And then obviously the block bypass is still a big thing in the game. So Minakaze third move is still pretty good. Now, another one you guys probably know, if you guys have been watching my videos recently, Acid has been absolutely broken recently. Acid has been absolutely nuts, insane on mode. Probably one of the, you know, best elements for a while now. Elements nerf, I mean, Acid elements nerf has been, you know, needed for quite a bit. Pretty much all of the moves have gotten a damage nerf. Acid Slide no longer has iframes, and I'm pretty sure it's on the iframe attack global cooldown, even though it has no iframes now, so, you know, that's a thing. Probably needs removed from that. But the move is still honestly pretty good. It has hand size. Everything good about the move has been nerfed, though, so it has hand size now. Iframes removed. It's on the better global cooldown that actually represents it, you know, a little bit better. But the move is still insanely good if you can actually hit it. But, you know, if you guys are unable to, you know, cope with the nerf of this, I honestly just gotta say, deal with it. I mean, not to be salty or anything like that, but Acid Second is, I mean, not Acid Second, Acid Slide has been one of the most broken moves in the game since release. So this move honestly deserved to get butchered just because of how overpowered it was. Now, some small ones that may impact you quite a bit. Hand signs, you know, hand signs, aka knuckle cracking, has been added to dynamic stop and skull crusher, so they're not instant combo centers anymore. I think this is a fine change in my opinion. Now, a change that I do not think is fine. There's a new, there were some changes to Indra, let me tell you. Now, I've already talked to the balance team captain about this, so these changes will get fixed in the next update, most likely. The second move had hand signs added and the range wasn't increased, and for some reason people assumed that it guard broke. They changed that after the you know, showcase. It didn't guard break anymore, so now it's just a close ranged hand sign stun that doesn't have the same stun time as, you know, Bankai stun. So pretty much it's just a significantly worse Bankai stun at the moment. Fume also received some pretty major changes. The second move damage decreased. It also had, you know, hand signs added to it. Fume overall has honestly gotten butchered from this update as well. I think that, you know, the nerfs was a little bit too hardcore in Fume, but it's understandable because Fume second was honestly pretty broken, and for some reason half the time it would just block bypass you. So you know, these changes are fine. Now, probably some of the most popular subdues in the game, which is actually Raisin Shuriken Rush, that was actually nerfed. It had hand size added to it. It shouldn't impact your combos that much, but since it's not instant anymore, it won't be as easy to use. By the way, guys, what has been your favorite nerf or buff in the updates recently? From the comments, we'll be checking them out. Now, last but not least, what I'm going to be talking about in this video is going to be Snakeman. Now, I'm going to go ahead and have Somboku pop up all the changes for you on the screen right now, just so he will just scroll through it real quick. But there has been a lot of changes, but the last one we're going to be focusing on is actually Snakeman. Snakeman now, I'm going to say it, Snakeman after these changes is honestly pretty bad now. All of the good things about Snakeman were removed, so the throwable doesn't do as much damage anymore. The counter doesn't do as much damage. I'm pretty sure the C-spec damage was lowered. First move damage was lowered. So pretty much everything about Snakeman is just significantly worse now. I do think the Bloodline was so good before that it's still pretty okay, but it's definitely not S tier anymore. I definitely would rank it probably A- tier nowadays, if not B+ tier. But, you know, these changes have quite affected Snakeman quite a bit, and a lot of people spend all of their Rel coins on Snakeman. So unfortunately, it did actually receive, you know, a nerf, and most of you guys probably, you know, missed out on the Rel coin action there. Anyways, guys, for this video, enjoyed this video. I'm guys. Bye-bye.